Dun, 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 dun. There's a news article from The Gamer that's making its rounds in the community. Michael Murray and Harada is asked about next-gen collaborations, which is guest characters, but also the one that everyone is really sinking their teeth into is Heihachi. Is this character permanently gone? By the end of this news article, we will have a better answer of all of them. Harada mentions how it's difficult to balance newcomers, casuals versus the top tier players. What those two different environment of players want and also need is vastly different. And balancing those two things, because it's the same game, balancing the experience for both is a very difficult thing. That's basically what Harada talks about. He says the gameplay mechanics such as the heat system might appeal to the esports fighters, but the regular consumer, they're more interested in the total package. What kind of game modes? The story. And Tekken 8 needs to have a very good balance of both. So we keep that in mind when developing the game. There's been a few news articles now where Harada said pretty much the same thing about story, game modes, and characters, and know that he's serious. He's saying the same thing over and over and over because he really wants us to know Tekken 8 is going to be different when it comes to all of these different categories. Harada says Akuma was in Tekken 7, but that was not a collaboration since he was actually in the storyline, while other guest characters were added later. It's similar for Tekken 8. We're not creating a game with guest characters in mind from the start. We're focusing on our own characters in the starting lineup. Then at some point, if we need that boost in excitement, or if that's something the fans overwhelmingly ask for, then maybe that's something we'll add later on. But right now, it's not something we're considering. If you guys keep on asking, keep on the momentum, those characters probably will become a reality no matter how expensive they are. That's something I always bring up, is expensive. Before we read the news article, I went back and found past discussions where Harada basically confirmed the death of Heihachi. One thing that kind of throws this all out of whack was Leroy Smith's story. In Leroy Smith's story, it says missing, and a lot of people was like, uh-oh, they used the term missing for Jun Kazama, and look, she's here now. Is it the same for Heihachi? The reason why I would say no is because before Tekken 7 came out, March 4th, 2017, Harada says not everything is over, but Mishima confrontation between Kazuya and Heihachi will end by the death of either one. Another thing, there is this Tekken 7 Pachinko slot machine video that was created by the development team. Even though this is not canon, you still had a team of developers sit down and make this. And basically what it is Heihachi's charred corpse floating in that same volcano that Kazuya threw him in. This is more evidence to Heihachi being dead. The final nail in the coffin, even before we get into the news article, is this. When asked about the final fight between both Kazuya and Heihachi, Harada called it a major milestone in the story. Words like these have never been used in the past to describe the death of Heihachi or any Mishima. With those three pieces of evidence in mind, let's read the most current discussion from Michael Murray and Harada about the death of Heihachi. Michael Murray laughs and he says, I don't know how he's not dead, right? Referring to his death at the end of Tekken 7 where Kazuya throws Heihachi's limp body into the lava. I countered that there could always be a way. In Tekken 4, Heihachi tried to make himself immortal using Ogre's blood. In parentheses, he failed. This is something we have to keep in mind. Heihachi did not die from being thrown in the volcano. Heihachi died from his heart being stopped when Kazuya punched him in the chest. That is what killed him. Throwing him in the volcano was just icing on the cake. You did it to me back in Tekken 2, Tekken 3, so I am going to do it to you once again. But he was already dead before he even hit the ground. Heihachi was. He looks pretty dead to me. Heihachi had failed to actually convert the devil gene, and he doesn't have it, so there's no way he can be revived like Kazuya or Jin can. Harada tells me he had been surprised to see just how dead Heihachi was in the story. Michael Murray says that when Harada expressed his shock to the team about just how dead Heihachi was, they told him they'd only give him what he's asked for. Harada said, make his death permanent, and they did it. Michael Murray says Harada told him, Heihachi has been dead so many times, you have to make sure it's convincing this time. Michael Murray jokes and says, what about AI Heihachi, Mecha Heihachi, Jack Heihachi? Even with the death of Heihachi being permanent, this is always something that comes up as a suggestion, and whether or not this will or will not happen, only time will tell. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.